third one, semicolon, in 2023.
That makes significantly more sense. And you know what we have at the third Let's Make Big Moves in 2023? We have a crew battles bracket, and the first match that we're going to be watching here in this cruise bracket is Ohio versus Philly. Representing Ohio, we've got Cosmos making his way up to the stage, and starting on the Corrin instead of the Aegis, facing off against MPG.
I guess that would make a little bit sense, partially against the roster of Philly, but particularly here against the Mega Man 2. There are a lot of ways things can go wrong when you play Aegis, but with the Corrin, you're going to get access to a lot of reliability, and that is what I think of when I think of Cosmos in a crew battle. I don't think of him as a guy, despite his talent level, right? I don't think of him as a guy that's going to take 6, 7 stocks. He's going to play against anybody you throw at you, and is going to take 3 or 4.
Right. That's how I think of Cosmos, just in general in crews, where he's going to go even. He is going to lose 3 stocks and take 3 stocks, maybe 4. But that's what you want in a crew battle, because every single person on your team does that, you win.
And you know what? I'm glad that we're watching him in crews and not as much in doubles, because here, being a team player might be a little bit easier for him.
Let's not talk about that
Might
clip.
just be a little bit easier.
I can 100% guarantee you, knowing both of them, that was not Cosmos' fault. It was Light's fault.
Hey, I wouldn't have brought it up if Cosmos didn't steal my sunglasses 6 years ago, but
6 years? You've held a grudge that long?
Yep. Yeah, why not? But now we're even, so there's no more need to hold the grudge.
He lost a 3-stock to 1-stock match against Dark Wizzy.
And it was mostly because he was standing in the corner, but like you said, could have been Light's fault. Regardless, not what we're talking about. We're talking about the crew battle and the first stock of it being taken by Cosmos with that pin. And like we said, we expect the consistency. MPG putting on that shield pressure. I hear Lyric going crazy in the crowd.
Yeah, I already hear the Philly crowd starting to heat up for their squad, but MPG's going to need a little bit more than that to take out Ohio's starter, and he's looking to find more right here, right now. Does not connect, but the second dare does it, and 2 stocks are gone over the course of about 30 seconds. This is not a good start for Cosmos or Ohio.
And again, you put out Cosmos because you want him to be that team leader, but MPG stepping up, and again,
he might do it again.
This is Philly you're talking about. That crowd is going to be loud.
68%, he's already all but lapped him. This stock might go the same way as the last 2 if he can't find a way out of this corner. And this shield pressure from MPG is absolutely insane too. So many little chip hits against your shield that if you're not careful about, if you drop shield too early, will lead into either that up tilt, maybe the back air into a dare. Whatever it is, you do not want to get hit by it.
The problem is Cosmos does not have the mobility he usually gets with Aegis, right? He's relying on that shield a lot to make up space against Mega Man's pellets and everything. And like you said, MPG has been eating that alive, and Philly's still chanting for their boy. They are relentless in the crowd, and they might just get what they want. Cosmos already to 95%, and if MPG gets a decent setup, he could be out with a bullet.
And I like the idea there by MPG on that juggle situation against Cosmos. He baited out the air dodge initially with the second up air, and then was trying to read Cosmos panic jumping out of disadvantage. Cosmos obviously has a little bit more composure and can recognize when MPG is going for that, so wasn't caught. But I love like the idea of setting that up, and now MPG knows, okay, he's not jumping, I can just punish him. And speaking of punishes, catches the crash bomb into the back air, and Cosmos goes down with only 1 stock to his name.
Boy, that is a big start for Philly. And listen to them go.
MPG, they're chanting their boy's name.
I haven't heard anybody shouting MPG like that since the last time we had a climate conference.
Not again.
Not again?
Not again.
Where are my V8 engines? I'm not talking about MPG, I'm talking about MPH right now.
He's definitely going at about 80 million miles per hour. So he takes over Cosmos there, and we're going to see who Ohio's counterpick is. I believe they have like Doorstop on their lineup.
Doorstop, Geist, and Cosmos are their 3 main ones.
So they have no depth.
Have to remember, no.
Okay.
They have Toast and Andrew T as their backups. And honestly, the Toast as a backup? Or as they say, an alternate, quote unquote.
Yeah. So
maybe a little bit kinder.
When you said the initial 3, and speaking of Toast, that's him right there. But speaking of the alternates, the way this crew battle works, for those of you just tuning in, because we did not have a lot of time, they just got right into the action. The crews are all 3v3. Each crew gets 9 stocks. However, each team can field up to 5 players. Some teams have 3, some teams have 4, some teams have 5. You can't use all 5 players in one crew battle, but you also have no set lineup. So if you go into a crew battle and you go, oh crap, MPG just wiped out Cosmos, we have Toast as one of our alternates. He's pretty good against Mega Man. He lives in the Carolinas. He deals with Peanut constantly. So he knows how to fight Mega Man. Let's send Toast in against the Mega Man. You can do that. There's no set lineup, so even though Toast was a quote-unquote alternate, he can still make his way into this crew battle. That's what I was talking about when I said depth, and why I was initially surprised that, oh, okay, I thought Ohio didn't have 2 extra people.
Yeah. No, they do have some extras, and there are a couple of crews in here that are just 3 people. I think a lot of them did pick up a couple of extras, but there were a couple that were in here with just the 3 people, and they did kind of have that set lineup. But I do find it interesting that in a format like this, right, you do actually have a little bit of pressure on your captain to make the right choices and not just say, you know, well, we've got 10 people, they're all pretty good, we'll just send them in when they want to go in. Like, no, I've got to say, this is who I feel like I need to bring, and I kind of wish that it was go into, you see what crew you're playing against, and then you pick your 3 going into that, and then you can order as you go in there.
Interesting.
But
I'm actually a pretty
I don't
big
think
fan.
that's how it is.
It's not. You have all 5 available to you if you have 5 and can counterpick at any time with anybody. And speaking of those counterpicks, let's see how well Ohio's works out here. Let's see if that Peanut experience works out for Toast. I think he maybe jumped the gun a little bit there, didn't give MPG time to get that SD off. But he drinks his milk, makes sure his bones grow up big and strong, and we'll see if he can take on the super fighting robot or not.
Well, Toast feeling a bit evil, as the in-game tag suggested.
I think that's the crew he's a part of, I believe.
Listening to the crowd, you'd believe it. They're out there acting like Naruto is playing for Philly.
He might as well be. You seen MPG recently?
Dude, I would believe it.
MPG just kind of running away from Toast right now. Doesn't really want to deal with a lot of the projectiles, but he gets his first hit. He starts cooking.
Now, this is one of those things where you say, matchup experience-wise, yeah, Toast has definitely fought against his fair share of top-level Mega Man, but, and this is a big but, Young Link has a hard time getting things started when he can't just spam his projectiles. Mega Man's better at that. And because all of his hitboxes are so stubby, Mega Man can continue to maintain that space. That's the problem you've seen Toast having. MPG on this warpath where it looks like he could just sweep this crew battle.
Can we talk for just a split second about MPG's movement? When Toast was on that situation in the ledge, he gets up, MPG just slight jump away, jump back in, get the grab set up for the ledge trap, and the damage just keeps on building. There is no respite for the people from Ohio. They have no choice but to deal with MPG taking all of them.
The leaf shield off of the rush as well. Toast not able to maneuver anywhere that he wants to go. And like you said, compare that to MPG, free-flowing as ever. Some of the most solid movement I have seen from this character in all my time.
Not even the boomerangs or the arrows are allowed to work because either 1, MPG parries it, or 2, the lemons are already in the way, and they just say, no thank you, young man.
He's been hopping on his head like Chris Pratt hops on Goombas, man. I mean, God, how many times have I seen Toast Goombas? He got footstooled like 7 times. Does get one on the board, though, so MPG down to last stock, and wait a second. You know that Toast has done some crazy things that nobody else can really emulate with this character.
58% is a damn good start, too.
The leaf shield not able to connect, though. I love the idea by MPG, but all of a sudden really losing his mojo a bit. Toast starting to bring this one back for Ohio, where it really seemed like Philly was a runaway train. Finally got a little bit of momentum under his feet, but can he turn it into another stock without giving MPG his 5th on the board?
And you mentioned being on his feet, and I think that's kind of the key to taking out MPG here. He seems to be at his strongest when his feet are firmly planted on the ground, and he's able to take advantage of all these movement options that he's got available to him. Every time I see him airborne and Toast is able to either get a reversal or put him there in the first place, that's where Toast has really been thriving in this game. And that's just because, as simple as it is, Mega Man doesn't have nearly as many movement options when he's in the air, but he does have options to take out one singular Youngling. No, going to be able to make it back thanks to the bomb in hand, but then the F smash catches the jump off ledge, and it's a 5th stock in the pocket for MPG.
And he will only get 5 Toast fires back, but Philly is going to be rather happy about that one. They sent out their guy first, and he took 5, more than half of the stocks necessary to take the crew battle. Toast is finally able to fell the super fighting robot, but there are still two fully healthy Philly players left.
Right.
And Ohio's got one Toast stock left, and then one probably doorstop, I would guess, maybe Geist.
Right, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier. In this format of Cruise, where it's 3v3 instead of sometimes where you see the 5v5 or even 10v10, one person goes crazy like MPG just did there and takes 5 stocks, that starts to feel almost unrecoverable. You don't have like that much to work with anymore. You've got 4 stocks total. You got 1 Toast stock and then maybe one Geist or one doorstop or whatever. But with all the killers that Philly has in their lineup and so healthy, that feels like a nigh insurmountable task, but not 100% undoable.
It's not completely insurmountable. It just feels that way. But it is one of those things where, you know, you get off to that early lead, right? You establish that, and your team feels like you're playing with a handicap. Right. At that point, you have somebody who, when somebody goes on that run, your team has to have somebody go on that run as well, right? That is just how crew battles work.
Beast needs to take 3 here.
Especially in a condensed format like this, right? Yeah.
Toast, I mean. Toast needs to take 3 here.
If Toast takes 3, then absolutely he has more than done his job. He's put Ohio back into this thing, but Beast is no easy feat to overcome. He is the team captain for Philly, and he is reliable as they come.
Mr. Beast!
No, not that Beast.
Gonna be getting through the SDs real quick here, and then the crowd is going to count it down. Let's hear it. 2, 1, and let's take it.
On Pokemon Stadium 2, I don't think that we see a whole lot of counterpicking in Cruise in general, which is just a personal preference thing, but even here, I know that Beast is going to want to be able to have the ability to maneuver around the Young Link, particularly on the Ivysaur. He's going to want to have some space to work with, but right now, not working to his advantage. Toast is still able to stay up close and personal. Beast taking a beating here at the start of this one.
Toast making phenomenal use of Young Link's lack of end lag on a lot of his moves. So much pressure on the shield, so much lack of availability for that space that you were talking about. Beast wants to separate the two of them. He wants to reset neutral, and then he wants to use the big disjoints that Ivy or Charizard have at their disposal to be able to punish him. But Toast is just in his face saying, no.
I love that Toast was in control of the game for an entire minute and does take the first stock as well. But Beast got his grubby little hands on Toast one time, and the crowd started going nuts. And look, off stage against Ivysaur, especially playing Young Link, who has a harder time getting off ledge than some other characters, Ivysaur can absolutely blow that up, and that is a win condition Beast is going to look for. But with a juggle, with a Vine Whip, Toast falls after just taking that first stock from Beast.
5 stocks to 3 is our count now, and that is kind of exactly what I was talking about against MPG, right? Where every time they got juggled, Toast had so much trouble getting back down. MPG was the same way, but it was just whoever had their feet on the ground for longer was able to do so much more in those situations. And I'm getting a little bit distracted by the words that I will not be repeating that the land of Philly is chanting from behind as they currently lead 5-3 by 2 stocks.
It's a Philly crowd. You ought to know.
We might be at the New Yorker, but
you ought to know.
This is home crowd.
Yeah, this is the Philadelphia at this moment in time.
Why did you say that?
I don't know, and I don't like it.
I regret that you said that.
I feel like I'm Torbjorn now. They're headed down to the Philadelphia. My turret.
Anyways, it seems to me that Philly is holding on to a pretty strong. I can't. How do I move on from this? Philly is holding a 2-stock lead, and it seems that Geist is going in for Ohio to try and salvage what they can. But as this is a single elimination bracket,
it's time to step up.
I thought you were going to resume in the Torbjorn voice.
No, I don't need it. Why would I do that? Why would I have to do that? There's no reason for me to bring back the Torbjorn voice. Hi, everybody. I'm very sleepy today.
I feel like I can't say anything because something.
You're in mortal danger every time you open your mouth.
I'm in peril.
And it's not your fault. It's only because I couldn't sleep last night. But we do have Geist. Geist is going to have to go on a 5-stock run, just like we saw MPG do for Philly. He is now going to have to step up for Ohio. And the first step is taking down Beast. The Bayo versus the Squirtle to start it off, and the crowd going to count it down.
There is the signal off the bat. Geist is already trying to go in, knows that he needs to start taking these stocks absolutely immediately, but I feel like if Beast just plays a patient game, Geist might SD.
I have watched too many Lima sets to...
I was like, oh,
the crew battle's over. Like, oh, got it. Awesome.
Well, and the thing, too, is that I knew Geist wasn't dead at that distance off stage, but what I was thinking was going to happen was a little thing called Ivysaur down air that is anything but little.
It's quite large, in fact. And even Bayonetta can't really... Normally, the Witch Twist is like impossible to contest, but when you're Ivysaur, you can contest just about whatever the hell you want to. I love Geist going low right there, trying to get aggressive again, knowing that he has got to take these stocks quick. Hopefully not lose one here against Beast and set it up for a 3-stock to 3-stock
But we're
final
at that percent range now, Kimona. 145 on Beast. This is where Bayo is really going to struggle to kill, because just like you saw on that Witch Twist there, Beast falls out of it, and a lot of guys' follow-ups aren't really going to work that well. Once again, there can't get the fair off the Witch Twist, but just gets a raw bear, and that's 1 stock off of Beast. Only one more necessary to bring it down to actually just a 1v1, a best of 1.
Ohio is within striking distance now, but it's up to Geist. Was most likely to get this stock, and those up airs on the platform going to open up big damage. Not going to be able to take him off the top just yet, even though that is Squirtle. It's not quite.
Something in my brain was telling me like bad DI, Squirtle's light. There's a lot of things that could go wrong here.
It was the part of you that played Smash 4.
It was the part of me that used to play Ganon in that game and died at 0 every single time.
No, now what's your problem? But there is Beast finding one problem with that Geist combo game, getting that 1 stock, and that will give Philly an advantage going into the last game. But again, this one's not over yet either. I've seen Beast do some crazy things, and it is Charizard with Rage against a light character. You better watch your back. You better watch your back.
You're getting back thrown toward that right-hand side blast zone, and there might be a flare blitz or a back air in your future. You got to be careful around that, but careful is definitely one word to describe Geist, and with those pummels into the F throw, that is certainly it for this series, and we go into our final match of the crew battle, 3-2. Geist needs to play perfectly.
He is down 1 stock. That is a handicap, but it is within striking distance, and particularly, those were the 2 biggest names on the Philly team as well, right? Beast and MPG.
Who else do they have again?
I believe the 3rd main player that they have is Yoda Cage.
Well, that's not Yoda Cage that just stepped up. I actually don't recognize
They have Yoshio and Mercury are the other 2.
I think that's Mercury.
And that would make sense, because
that is Mercury. Okay,
what I have heard from the Philly team is that Yoshio is there, but he does not perform well under pressure. Sweet kid that he is not a guy who performs under pressure. And I like going to Mercury instead of Yoda Cage because, honestly, Bowser Jr. versus Bayonetta
does not sound fun.
Not a great matchup. And honestly, credit to Ohio for keeping Geist in the back and cutting off, right? Okay, we know that Beast is the 2nd one. We already saw MPG out first. So if they're going with the definitive number 3 on that team, Yoda Cage, they're going to have to throw him into a rough matchup. So this does potentially give Geist another opening, but Mercury is quite talented in and of himself.
Yeah, formerly number 1 in Philly before I believe that a couple of people have taken that title away. I think he was only number 1 for like the 1st season right after quarantine, but I might be incorrect. I know he was number 1 for at least 1 season at some point. Plays Joker, very, very talented Joker player. And another thing too, you've got 3 stocks worth of Joker versus 2 stocks of Bayo. That's a lot of Arsens, Kimona.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Arsens.
That is a lot of Arsens, but I think actually a key part is that Mercury's not one that has to drop a stock first, because you would get to start off because of the ways that crew battles work. He would be starting off with extra Arsene. Not going to happen here, but count it down. Here we go. The final 2 players between Philly and Ohio. Mercury's got 3 for Philly. Geist knocked down to his final 2, but still on the board for Ohio and getting things started with Mercury in the corner.
That's going to be a fair in the corner, and that is a stock for sure. And just like that,
we have a game.
We got a game. We're even.
We have a game, and again, there's Mercury having a little bit of Arsene, but you talked about having a lot of Arsene, especially against a character like Bayonetta, but with not the right DI, Mercury maybe not warmed up enough. This is going to be down to the wire.
That SDI was just not there for him, but he is going to take the advantage of that 73% lead that he managed to get himself with the combination of the first two stocks. It very well might not matter if you're air dodging like that in the corner, though. You got to be careful with those types of moves, and you're going to die! No, okay, still living.
Still holding on, has Arsene, but he has to go low enough that he's going to surrender a couple more hits, and in fact, it will be the stock. Geist on a run, 4 stocks taken, and has given Ohio the lead in the 11th hour. One more gets them to move on in the bracket.
Geist is the hero for Ohio here, looking at taking the exact same amount that MPG opened the crew battle with, but as the anchor, that feels so much more important than it did a little bit ago. Arsene finally makes his presence known, finally connects with something meaningful in the form of that back air.
Final stock last, and the crowd knows it too. You can hear them chanting one more stock. I guarantee you that's Philly, but Ohio, they would be saying the same thing too. Tons of damage on Mercury as the Arsene goes away, and you might not see it for the rest of this game.
Not with 98% on him, but there is sort of a win condition here where we've seen it a couple of times, especially in the set with Beast, where you get to that higher percent and Bayonetta, again, stops working properly, especially on Ace.
Oh!
Nope, never mind, doesn't matter. Up tilt, back air, and Ohio clutches out the crew battle with Geist as their champion.
Absolutely clutch stuff from Geist right there, coming in as the anchor. And we talked about it, right? We said,
it actually worked.
That's a rough deficit to come back from, but it's not over. And Geist said, this character is explosive. I am explosive. And Ohio somehow hanging in there and moving on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I was even going to be talking about there, especially at higher percents and especially with rage building up, was Joker, he's skinny. He's got for the opponent's terrible hurt box. He is very hard to combo, especially at higher percents. He starts falling out of pretty much every multi-hit that you can imagine, but Geist said, okay, no multi-hits then. Up tilt, back air. See you later.
Yeah.
Philly out of the bracket at last place.
Along with, to be fair, 7 other crews, because it is single elimination.
And I did hear, actually, from chat, just taking a peek at what everybody's saying, apparently T3 Dom beat Tweak for SoCal versus South Jersey. And Crew Battle Tweak is usually somebody that you expect to show up in a big way for you. We're calling back to Let's Make Moves Miami, the Florida versus Tri-State Crew Battle, where Tweak, I think, took
Southeast.
7 stocks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's going to be kind of a rematch of that, too, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, tomorrow after singles finishes up, so after everybody's made their way into top 128, which top 128 into top 8 is happening Sunday. But after pools are done, we are doing the run back of the Southeast versus Tri-State Crew Battle, because after we beat them the last time, they just kept jawing about not having their full lineup. Whatever.
Well, you know what? It may be a little bit